The Chicago Bears are on the road for Monday Night Football in Pittsburgh, where they draw a Steelers squad that's heating back up.
In traffic, he's taken down.
That's 3 straight wins for Pittsburgh, their latest a defensive masterpiece. TJ Watt in particular was everywhere, both in the backfield
And again, Mayfield runs into TJ Watt.
as well as down the field to make a huge fumble recovery late in the game.
And he lost the ball at the end. Oh my goodness. And who else but TJ Watt has the football in his hands?
Forgive Watt if he has a little drool on him when he lines up against the Bears this week. 4 more sacks taken last week.
Fields under pressure, down he goes!
And Fields has met Fields face-to-face 4 times in each of the last 3 games.
No real window, right? They closed that down fast.
Mixed in with all those sacks last week was Fields' best game so far, one that saw him use his legs way more, including one run that we can stamp with signature play.
He's just saying, I'm the best athlete on the field.
Fields, the passer, wasn't bad, still not many yards, and his yards per attempt was under 7 again, but was solid enough executing the Bears' game plan, and his TD throw was a great example of what he's capable of on the move.
Looking for the end zone, diving attempt by the tight end, Jesse James!
The Pittsburgh pass defense he faces didn't allow Baker Mayfield to throw any TDs last week, held him to 225 yards, a sub-90 rating.
Breaking it up from Pickens. And he times it perfectly.
Really, the Steelers' rush defense will play a more prominent role in this game. Chicago is a run-first team, and normally Fields doesn't lead the way for them the way he did against the 49ers.
On those.
And they're now allowing over 4.5 yards per pop for the season.
Slipping through tacklers and spinning to a first down.
So they better be ready for a large serving of Najee Harris.
Wow, what a touchdown dive that is!
Harris put up 91 yards against the Browns, another game under 4 a carry though. But Steelers fans, like Bears fans, will always remind you about their O-line when you bring up Harris's efficiency. Touché, I say.
Najee Harris. And Clowney was the guy that was in the backfield.
But this should also be a game that sees plenty of Big Ben throwing the ball. Over 260 yards last week, TD, no interceptions, rating close to 100.
Wow, what a big-time throw. It's 4th down. It was good defense. I was shocked.
Chicago, meantime, allowed Jimmy Garoppolo to throw for over 320 yards, 11.5 yards per attempt, rating over 100.
50-yard connection to Deebo Samuel.
They don't have Khalil Mack, and without him last week, a team that had the most in the league couldn't get even one.
Chicago decides to only rush 3. He's got all the time in the world.
The Bears need to get on the right road quick. They seem to be following Michael Scott's GPS right now. Pittsburgh, they aren't heading into any lakes. They're heading their way back up the standings. Will their climb continue? Let us know in the comments section. Here's our picks on the screen. The machine knows! The Green Bay Packers are off to Kansas City for another big showdown, and once again having to play in a big game short-handed, this time with the Chiefs, but they face them without Aaron Rodgers placed on the COVID list. So it's Jordan Love time. Love getting his first start against none other than Patrick Mahomes, whose Chiefs got back into the win column, but not in the way some of their fans would have liked.
To give Kansas City the lead, and he does.
Something is still wrong with KC. Eking out a win over the Giants at home is not necessarily getting right, and Patrick Mahomes showed that right out of the gate.
Now he jumps and throws, batted up into the air, and it's intercepted.
Mahomes put up plenty of yards,
Finds some space and throwing on the run, it's caught. Touchdown.
but he also threw the ball almost 50 times. His yards per attempt and rating in rough territory, not to mention his streak of INTs. To borrow a phrase from the parlance of our times, Mahomes is being very undued right now.
3 different times the Giants have gotten their hands tonight already on a Patrick Mahomes pass.
Whether it's good or bad, he overly relied on Tyreek Hill last week. 18 targets, 11 more than anyone else.
Body control and adjust to the bad ball. That's scouting talk right there.
Travis Kelce is one of their more consistent producers, but he didn't do much against New York, giving the ball up once even.
There you see the left hand of Logan Ryan gets it out.
And they still do make sure to utilize McCole Hardman's speed throughout games.
That speed, you just can't coach it. You just sit back and watch and enjoy.
The defense that group faces is not going to make it easy on them, though.
Trying to find somewhere to go with it, and it's broken up.
Green Bay is coming off a nice outing where they shut down Kyler Murray. No TDs allowed, picked him off twice.
They get to him, ball's off target, and there's Henry Black off the deflection.
Their secondary has been playing the pass tough all year, too. Rating allowed under 90, yards per attempt under 7, and 9 picks.
And that's a hard one for me to even try to explain as to what possibly could be going through A.J. Green's mind.
And that pass rush continues to impact games. 2 more sacks against Arizona, and their pressure rate for the year is solid.
He shoots. He can't wait on him. He gets him to the ground.
KC has given Mahomes average type protection in terms of sacks allowed, but it does feel like he spends a lot of time running for his life.
Rush just 3. Now a 4th defender comes in, the ball comes out.
They do have sort of an X factor in Derek Gore, who gave them a spark with some nice runs last week.
Gore cuts it outside. Touchdown, Kansas City.
And Green Bay's rush defense has been generous to ball carriers, giving up 4.7 a run.
Right in the middle of that defense, just nobody there. Green Bay confused.
That would be quite the adaptation, though. Maybe as big as what we saw Green Bay do last week.
He shows patience, and he's able to cut, and he sees that crease right there, and then he goes and takes it.
Matt LaFleur drew up a great game plan against the Cardinals. It was his best game, I think. But that's just like my opinion, man. But Green Bay didn't have their receivers, so they adapted by taking advantage of their opponent's weakness and running it down their throat.
There's the wham block, and just open right up the gut.
And then they stuck 2 running backs in the passing game, too, so Rodgers had a really low yards per attempt, targeting Jones far and away the most on the night.
I tell you, if he's able to keep his footing when he gets through that, there was nothing left but the end zone.
And then when they got in the red zone, Rodgers did his thing.
Little pump fake play is caught. Second of the game.
They showed they can morph, which is huge because now they'll have to do it again. Jordan Love getting his first NFL start, but not his first NFL regular season action. He did play in mop-up duty in week 1 and looked pretty good doing it.
Floats it. He's got Cobb. And Randall Cobb with a catch.
And he will at least have a full set of receivers to work with.
He throws back against the grain. Adams is in. Rodgers in rhythm. Tosses end zone. It's been all about Lazard.
Throws and reaching up. Valdez scaling for the touchdown.
And the good news for Love, he's not up against a strong pass defense. In fact, it's one of the worst in the NFL this year.
Loads and fires, middle of the field, a jump ball, and it is caught!
But Green Bay could also stick to their Week 8 script and just run it. KC's rush defense isn't much better than its pass defense.
Boom, north and south. That looks like a combine running back drill.
To be fair, though, they did play the run better against the Giants.
Chris Jones just gets off the ball so fast and disrupts everything in the backfield.
And they sacked Daniel Jones 3 times and held him to 222 yards.
Jones to throw, it's picked off, intercepted.
But the Chiefs have all sorts of things to try cleaning up from him off the evening news. The Tennessee Titans head to LA this week for a little Sunday night football action with the LA Rams, a perfect matchup for the last game of the day until the news made the rounds. The king is dead, so to speak. Derrick Henry's season is over, so now the Titans have to forge ahead without him, and they start their new journey against Matthew Stafford, who just got done slapping down 3 Bills through the air, 3 TDs as well, rating over 125.
Stafford drops back, middle of the field, open again. It's Cup.
Okay, Matthew, we get it. It was all Detroit's fault. His lowest rating this year, 89. He's been 100 or better 6 of 8 games. His yards per attempt over 8 in 7 of his 8 contests.
Plenty of time, and Michelle out of the backfield with plenty of room.
Cooper Kupp, the best receiver in football. No one stops the guy, even though everyone's aware he's Stafford's go-to every game. You debate his ranking, his stats are at the very top, though.
Stafford end zone throw, touchdown, Cooper Kupp!
Tennessee can't forget about the rest of LA's pass catchers, though. Van Jefferson emerging the last 2 weeks as a key threat.
Deep for Van Jefferson. Stafford lays it up there, and Jefferson's got it.
Watch the timing on this throw again. As soon as he makes that break, it's right on him, and he has the opportunity to run with the football after the catch.
So what are they up against with Tennessee's defense? Oh, you know, they didn't just come up with one huge interception late last week.
Barely gets it out. It's intercepted. Disaster for Indianapolis.
They came up with two.
How about this Tennessee defense making the big plays when they've needed it most?
And while doing so, held Carson Wentz to under a 70 rating, a meager 4.5 yards per attempt, this coming off a game where they dominated Patrick Mahomes. So they are building momentum.
Buying time, throws, trying to force it in. Off the bounce, Tennessee has got it.
The Titans only had 1 sack last week. However, their pass rush was plenty effective. And the 1 QB takedown came at the hands of Harold Landry. That's 8.5 and at least half a sack in each game save 1.
Put his foot in the ground, nice little game, and come back inside. It's wide open for Landry.
He may find it difficult to get to Stafford, though. Defenders rarely do.
Wants to go deep, but he's got Cooper Kupp midfield, and he's off and running.
And let's not ignore how well that line blocks for their running backs, too.
Dancing with another first down, still going up across the 40.
Tennessee gave up 4.4 a run to Jonathan Taylor last week and have been somewhat average against the run overall.
Touchdown. It's Taylor.
Stopping the run was supposed to be the focal point for the Rams more than the Titans, but now the question is, who takes over for Henry and how often do they turn to him? The next man up is Jeremy McNichols, who has 7 carries for the whole year, third most on the team behind Henry and Tannehill.
McNichols shaking tacklers around the side, up the sideline.
Or it could be AP. Titans signed Adrian Peterson to their practice squad. At the moment I'm reading this, no way to know when we could see him suit up, though. Okay, so what do we got with the Rams' run defense? Average-ish, didn't face many runs against Houston, but if a team can run on them, it's better than trying to throw on them.
Nice run here by Burkhead.
What LA does well defensively, get home against quarterbacks.
And it's the relentlessness of the pass rush as well.
Interesting, though, they're not elite when it comes to pressure and QB hits. So come on down Von Miller. The Rams now sporting 3 guys who can heat things up.
Von Miller was in there before Russ ever had a chance. Donald just kind of tossed him around like a rag doll. And there's another sack. Mills goes down, and there's Leonard Floyd again.
That group could cause a whole lot of havoc against the Titans because Ryan Tannehill ends up on his back a lot. 3 more times last week, and they've allowed one of the highest sack totals this season.
The pocket just collapses on Ryan Tannehill.
Tannehill overcame 2 interceptions last week, throwing 3 TDs along with 265 yards.
Excellent play design, a good throw by Tannehill again, the ball location.
He didn't have Julio to work with, so he just zeroed in on A.J. Brown. That worked, but you know who he's going to have on him this week because of it.
Breaking free. Brown is in. Touchdown.
AJ is the WR1, so that means he gets Jalen Ramsey all night long, probably.
He's working against Anthony Auclair, a big tight end, keeps his outside leverage and actually able to knock that ball away from Danny Amendola.
LA's pass defense, though, is coming off a weird game. They were up 38-0, and then the game ends with Davis Mills hanging over 300 yards and a plus 100 rating on them.
Brandon Cooks, and that's a Texans touchdown.
Most of their numbers against QBs are good, though, so the Titans really could use Jones if he's healthy enough.
Gonna have to throw, and it's intercepted.
Such a bummer about Henry. Just means Tannehill has to rise up. No, that's an Atlanta thing. He has to tighten up and take over the throne. For when the snows fall and the white winds blow, the lone wolf dies, but the pack survives. Wow, Game of Thrones coming through perfectly in this instance. But it isn't going to be easy. They're in a foreign land against a defense that's scarier than White Walkers. Let's see what you've got for the scores. We'll show you what we've got.